Leanne Rohr with the Coshocton County Drug-Free Coalition, and we're in Coshocton County. This critical reflections piece of the needs assessment will be most helpful to us as we move forward, because we were able to take a deep look at both our quantitative and our qualitative data. And by looking at that, we were able to put together a story that we can share with our community in a way that's meaningful and helpful. For a lot of people, data is hard to review, and this puts that into a format that's easy to understand and helps people to be able to see where we're really at as a community and what our youth are feeling and thinking about prescription drug misuse. The critical reflections piece is most helpful in our community because it really does give people that story and that piece to grab a hold of. It also helped us to really look at what interventions we could do that would be meaningful in our community based on what our community was saying and what they were ready to partake in. So we heard both the parent voices and we heard the youth voices during our listening sessions. So we combined that data with our school survey data, and that really gave us the whole picture of what we need to focus on as a community to move forward with our implementation of evidence-based practices to help prevent prescription drug misuse among youth in our county. This critical reflection piece we'll take with us as a way to really understand why data is important, and that it isn't just numbers, it's also what are people thinking and feeling. So that will help us to really use that in other coalitions that we're part of. It will help with just day-to-day work and understanding that when you look at a data-driven process, it really gets to the root of what you need to address, as opposed to just focusing on things that people may arbitrarily feel or think. Oh, this part of the needs assessment, the critical reflection, took me out of my comfort zone because I really felt like I had no idea what I was doing. Was really kind of scary and overwhelming to me to think, what do I do with all this information between the data that's collected through the surveys and the data that was collected through the listening session, and how do I take all that and move it into a format that makes sense to people? So that was very scary to me. It's not something I've had to do before. The tools that I used to overcome the obstacles that I encountered were the webinars that were offered through OMOS and the SPF grant. Those were very helpful to me, and also the fact that they were recorded so I could go back and look at different pieces and parts. Just sitting through it once, it became very overwhelming and hard to remember everything you learned. So being able to go back and just focus on bits and pieces of it a little bit at a time as I worked forward was very helpful, as was the SPF website and being able to go on there and look at the different resources that were posted. I also utilized other needs assessments that I had access to through our community to see how people worded things and how things were written to help guide and direct us. And then also my OCAM coach and OSET evaluator were very helpful as I worked through the process and helped with looking at things as I had written them and am I interpreting things correctly. So it was very helpful. And I found all of the resources. The critical reflection questionnaire was also very helpful because it really helped me walk through how to sort the data and how to put it in a format that made it easy to read. Some advice I would give to a new person who is just working on the critical reflection section of the needs assessment is, don't be afraid to just move forward and ask for help. Give yourself a little bit of grace and know that it's something new and you got things to learn, and that's okay. And don't be afraid to ask for advice from people who have been through the process, and tap into all the resources that are available, whether it's through a video format or through people that you know, but that don't try to take it all at once. Take little steps, one bite at a time, and eventually you'll get through it. Tips and hints that I wished I knew is one, that it's going to be okay. The first thing I think I learned was just take a deep breath and then tap into the resources. understand that you're going to probably have to look at things and webinars and different things like that, especially the first time through, maybe multiple times. You're not going to get it the first time. It's a lot to learn when you're just starting out. So the biggest tip or hint would be just to take it easy, take a deep breath, and work through it one step at a time.